Time for the final question. Which Mumbai landmark connects these two locations?
What's that? A croissant? That doesn't sound right.
Croissant.
Oui or croissant, please. Wait. Invented in Austria. Eiffel, it's from France. Get it? Eiffel? Interesting. They've used the same steel here, here, and here.
My landmark connects these two locations.
Wait, I know this one.
Tarini has gone for it.
So the answer is the Taj Mahal Palace.
Tarini, you are absolutely right. Where will your curiosity take you? Tata Crucible 2024, celebrating the joy of knowing more. Register now.
Hello and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Typically, as with regards to Tata Crucible, you are used to hearing this line from someone else who I'll call in very soon and next. But it's absolutely my privilege to host this live today evening for each and every one of you. I'll tell you why. But personally, I want to just share my own journey. 20 years back, I was sitting in an auditorium as a first year undergraduate student in St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, and just going up on stage against 3 other teams from IIM Calcutta, right? About to almost upstage them. I didn't win on the day. But the person I met that day as the Quizmaster for the first ever Tata Crucible campus quiz, he's here again, 20 years down the line. And meanwhile, I have been a participant in Tata Crucible campus quiz as a UG student, participant in Tata Crucible campus quiz as a PG student, and then as a corporate professional. And in the last 2 years, in fact, on the other side of the table, I have been alongside my team at Unstop driving the numbers for registrations to record highs. It's absolutely my privilege to share with you that yesterday, we in fact, touchwood, crossed the number of 2 lakh registrations in Tata Crucible for the first time in its history, right? So that's the sort of scale that Tata Crucible has breached now. And I welcome you all to this Instagram live where we'll just essentially have a fun conversation like we always do in the history of Tata Crucible quiz, India's most prestigious business quiz, fondly called as the Wimbledon of business quizzing as well, right? Without further ado, I want to call upon the first person, the first panelist today, Giri Balasubramaniam, fondly known as Big Brain to each one of us in the quizzing fraternity and beyond. An educator and a noted quiz master, his company Grey Caps has pioneered educational initiatives across Asia, catering to a staggering 16 million youngsters. Over the years, as a QM, Giri has hosted over 3,500 shows across 11 countries. In fact, if my memory serves me right, this week he did 7 quizzes in one day, right, in Team Grey Caps, and he will talk about it as well. He has the distinction of being the only QM in the world to host a quiz at the Royal Opera House, London. He's an alum of the iconic Harvard Business School, also holds a master's in Gandhian philosophy. Trust me, over the years, he has asked a lot of questions on Mahatma Gandhi when I say this in Crucible to us quizzers. He's an advisor to the Department of Education, Karnataka. He's the host of the Tata Crucible quiz. I didn't have to say this for the last time, but let's put our hands together. Giri, welcome. Welcome to the live. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Next up, Rashmi. Rashmi has been an absolute like an anchor for Tata Crucible in the last few years. And I'll tell you a little bit about her before I welcome her. She's a well-known educator, quiz host, and a co-founder of Teacher Tribe. I would encourage you to really dig deeper about Teacher Tribe and learn about this fantastic initiative that celebrates teachers and their contributions. She has been, in fact, she's presently the only professional woman quiz host in Asia. She has hosted over 1,000 quiz shows across 60 cities in the country and also overseas in Kuwait, Singapore, and Dubai. She's a proud alum of NIT Surathkal and IIM Calcutta, a recipient of several awards, including a Business World 40 Under 40 listing as well, the Women Economic Forum, and the Quiz Host of the Year back in 2022 from SMX Business Network. She's the co-host of Tata Crucible and is an inspiration for all young girls. Rashmi, I want to share with you that out of 205,000 registrations, almost 80,000 are women participants this time, right? So fantastic number, and touchwood, it's still 1 week to go for the registration. So on that note, I want to welcome you to the live.
Thank you so much, Alekia. That is a reason to celebrate, actually.
Yeah. And it's because of efforts from the likes of you. Over to Giri and you. to take the viewers through some bits that you wanted to discuss. Over to you. I'll be back.
All right, let me get started. I think the principal reason why a Tata Crucible happens, and if any of you have questions, we can do it as questions with answers from us as well, because these are rare occasions where we get an opportunity to provide answers. Otherwise, you're only asking the questions. So Rashmi and me would be delighted to answer a few questions. But as Tata Crucible, I think, like you rightly said, it's evolved from a quiz into a sort of a learning movement, a celebration of knowledge. It's become something which is of a very large aspiration for people across age groups. I remember one lovely message that I received a couple of years ago, and I would cherish that message. And this happened when the new education policy in India was announced, the National Education Policy. And one of the guys either tweeted me or messaged me and said, graduation is becoming 4 years. So I replied, yes. So he tweeted back and said, I don't think you got the drift. It gives me 6 chances at Tata Crucible. So I smiled. Students were waiting for government to increase 1 year of graduation to get one more shot at Crucible. So me being me, I replied saying, don't make that many attempts to crack it. But that's the kind of passion people have. I think we've got 3 wonderful quizzers, one who's accompanied a lot of quizzers to Tata Crucible during her NIT days, where she also taught. So, she's had a faculty representative role as well at Crucible. That's a journey she's had. But what is important is, for a lot of you youngsters who are watching this, is to actually come out and take part. It's a learning process. Don't look at it as a competition. Yes, it is at the end of the day, but never get into it with the objective of trying to win. You will at some point in time. The Pradyumnas of the world, the Tahas of the world will tell you that at some point in time, don't trust what Giri says. At the end of the day, it is a competition. But the reality of it is, whether you win or you don't, you come out of it a better person. You come out of it a more knowledgeable person. You come out of it a more curious person. Even if you're standing there applauding someone else win on that day, you benefit by doing that. That is the kind of a platform a Tata Crucible is. Sometimes it's extremely humbling. You could be in final year of MBA and you could have a first year, undergrad coming and knocking you off. It's humbling, but that is what knowledge is about, which is why we live in a world where some people graduate to become CEOs of companies at 55 plus, and there are the 22, 23-year-olds who shake the world and, start up at 23 and deliver unicorns. So I think it's very important that we do that. What's also important is we have a fabulous format this time where the numbers that we, like Alakya said, the numbers that we are attracting is actually pushing us to accommodate more in the next rounds. So the prelim itself is now expanded into a far larger shortlist. So we've got a separate shortlist for men and a separate shortlist for women. I'm truly delighted, and I'm sure Rashmi will be equally delighted with the mention that there are 80,000 girls. I would be very keen. I always had this belief that it's a matter of when and not will it that we will cross a 2 lakh number. But I would be as happy as Rashmi is or anyone else is if we can breach that 1 lakh mark on the girls' participation. That would be huge for Tata Crucible. I think that would be massive. It's also reflective of the way India is changing. India is no longer caught up in these gender statements. Knowledge is knowledge. So we've come a long way from those things. I'm truly happy and delighted that the Tata Crucible is merely reflecting that new spirit of India. And that is the key. So prelims is going to accommodate more of you. There's a second round of a prelim which will bring us down to our 24 clusters. So the cluster numbers remain the same. We experimented with a lovely format during the corporate edition of Tata Crucible, and that was to bring together these quizzers. And I think at 20 years of Tata Crucible, one of the things we realized is we need to create a network of these like-minded, progressive-minded, knowledge-seeking youngsters in our country to know each other better. So, for want of a better word, it's like networking with like-minded people, but I don't really think it's networking in a networking sense. It's more to appreciate each other's interests and come together. The better word I would use perhaps would be to create a community that interacts with each other more often and sometimes more passively and calmly than while on stage. So I think that was the objective, because they're a lot calmer at the cluster rounds and so on. So the idea is to bring together 3 clusters to one location. So all the cluster finalists get to meet each other, spend a day with each other. And then from the 3 clusters, we have the respective cluster finals. Then we put the 3 clusters winners and runners together, and then choose eventually one per cluster, one per location, which is 8 locations. So the 24 clusters will come down to our 8 national finalists. So that is something fabulous as a structure that we've created. I think I'll pause there and come back if required to speak a little more. But truly, truly delighted to see a knowledge movement like this become what it has become. I never find a better phrase than saying I'm humbled, having been part of this for 20 years. And all kudos to the Tatas, pre-COVID, COVID, post-COVID, for sticking to this brand. And not a day, even during those pandemic years, did they consider saying, should we put a pause button on? That is the kind of commitment that has led to this growth. And I truly salute that on behalf of the quizzers. I'm not speaking here as a quizmaster, but purely on behalf of all the other quizzers. In fact, I think it kept the quizzing community going during the pandemic. You know, we had something to look up to, something to look forward to, kept us occupied in that sense. So truly fabulous, and delighted to be here, of course, today. Rashmi, you want to add something?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to talk a bit on the female participation when it comes to Tata Crucible. You are absolutely right. I mean, I'm very, very happy. And like I said, I would celebrate because we've reached 80,000 as a registration, or crossing 80,000 as a registration for girls for Tata Crucible this year. But I would be elated if that crosses a lakh, because that would mean like 50% of the participation is from girls. So that automatically increases the chance for number of girls to be qualified to a regional final as well. And honestly, that is something that I've seen even in the corporate quiz, the edition that we just completed. The number of girls who have qualified up to the regional final is far more than what it was before. And the numbers, of course, started increasing after COVID. But last year, we could see that on ground, right? The number of girls were so many. And some of them won, some of them did not. Some of them gave the other seasoned quizzers a run for their money. It was really good to see them on stage. What was even more interesting is that despite some of these girls not winning in those regional finals, they traveled to other locations, or they traveled for the national final only to watch it. I mean, the amount of commitment and interest and curiosity and how much they want to learn out of Tata Crucible was commendable when I saw them traveling all the way. They were taking one extra day off from office, and they were traveling all the way just to come and watch the national final. So I think that itself proves that if a corporate lady can put in that much of an effort, students can definitely take part in way larger numbers when it comes to Tata Crucible. And honestly, I'm not very surprised that this happened, because I have seen the trend changing even in school quizzing. The number of girls who are taking part, the number of girls who are winning is increasing. I mean, we are quizzing on an everyday basis when it comes to school quizzing these days, and I see the number increasing a lot. So I'm not really surprised with the change in the number in participation, but I'm really, really happy that it is reflecting across board, and it's not just one particular age group that we can see this kind of a pattern or this kind of a trend. So all the girls out there, please go ahead and ensure that the participation of girls goes to 50% of what the entire participation is this year. So let's target for over 1 lakh of participation from girls. So I would be waiting in all of these locations to quiz with all of you. So please ensure that you take part and register. And of course, there are wonderful prizes to win. Let's not forget that, right? I mean, there are great prizes to win. There are cash prizes. There is an internship. We have our winners and runners up with us here today. They will talk to you about the internship as well. But who would want to pass up an opportunity of interning with the Tatas? I mean, I don't think anybody would like to pass off an opportunity like that. So I think all of you should make the best of it. And more than anything else, yes, there are prizes, but I also understand that Tata Crucible is way more than the prizes. It's beyond the prizes. It's the title of the championship that also matters so much more. So I understand that. So there's so many things that you win if you take part at a Tata Crucible. So by only being the host for so many years, co-hosting with Giri, I have gained so much on a platform like Tata Crucible. So I'm very sure all of you will gain so much more if you win a Tata Crucible. So I really hope all of you take part, and I will be able to quiz with all of you very soon when the events start on ground.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rashmi. Thank
Just
you so
to
much.
add, sorry, Alek, you said as college students, you shouldn't let go an opportunity to intern. I remember a couple of years ago, I do look up to Mr. Harish Bhatt profoundly. And once I had seriously, but he took it jokingly, had seriously asked him, can I intern with you for a while? So even at my age, I don't let go of an opportunity to seek an internship with someone of the Tatas. So of course, yes, I think it's a golden opportunity for youngsters. I envy I didn't have those opportunities when I was in my preschool days, but I would like to compensate it even now.
In fact, Giri, I was checking some of the live comments. Aniruddha Datta, our multiple-time national champion, he has just commented that great show on the numbers, etc. His long-term dream is to come back after retirement as a student and take part in campus quiz. Probably he wants an internship as a prize also, as we know Aniruddha Datta very well, right? And
Alex, with Aniruddha, it's both ways, okay? His daughter quizzes a lot. She's quizzed with me for so many years, and she's been a champion at many other quizzes that I have hosted. So with him, it is both ways. The internship that is of value and also a girl participating. It's both ways.
Correct. Yeah. Awesome. And I think, Rashmi, I love the bit that you underlined around the internships that got added last year, as if the glory and the cash prize and all the awards were not enough. Tata's just decided to add that amazing bit as well. And I think we have a beautiful AV to sort of highlight the experience of the interns for the first time, the internship experience that they had. I would like the team to put that up on screen, and then we will bring a couple of those interns and those champions on screen and have a discussion.
Being a winner definitely feels surreal. Not just about the title, it's about the validation of the hard work and the dedication that we put in. Knowing that it's a recognition that is coming from the Tata Group is a feeling that is unmatched.
I like failures. I like to focus on them a little more. I like to take that as a challenge that maybe I'll give it another go. Tata Crucible has been an influence in my life in many more ways than I could imagine. Honestly, we both did aim for the top, but the real win was the opportunity of the internship that Tata Crucible brought us.
The internship has surpassed my expectations. My aspirations with the internship actually go far beyond the immediate experience.
Having such an opportunity can change your life in different ways than you think.
It is like a stepping stone to a future that is filled with growth, learning and contribution. It's about innovating and thinking ahead. It's about applying what we have learned in the real world scenario.
Sorry, Alekia, can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I was on mute. But yes, while I bring Pradumna on stage here to share his experiences, as you saw some of it as well, which you shared in the AV, Just wanted to share his background with each one of you. Obviously, he's the current champion of Tata Crucible Campus Quiz. He wants to hold on to his title for a few more days till someone takes the mantle up. Hailing from the unique and vibrant state of Tripura, Pradyumna in fact represented IIT Kanpur, as we all know, last year in his winning performance. Beyond his quizzing achievements, he enjoys singing, reading murder mysteries, and is a passionate fan of Manchester United. I am also a Red Devil, so I'm not surprised that you like failures because we lost yesterday as well, as we know. He's currently channeling his passion for quizzing into his career at Unstop. Really happy that he's my colleague at Unstop, in fact. Taha, welcome to you as well. Tahauddin, as we all know, was famously the runner-up last time around. He's a lawyer and dynamic social media professional with over 6 years of experience in transforming digital landscapes. An absolutely meritorious student, Taha holds a master's degree in law with a specialization in IPR, where he excelled academically. He's also a distinguished grad of the prestigious Copywriters program of Harvard Law School and NLSI U Bangalore. In addition to his legal acumen, Taha, with his unique blend of creativity and strategic thinking, has led impactful social campaigns for prestigious companies and brands like Nagpur Police Commissionerate and the Central Board of CBSE, essentially Central Board of Secondary Education, earning national and international recognition. Guys, I want to tell you that there have been comments all through the live that where is Pradyumna Bhaiya, where is Taha Bhaiya, the heroes. So the floor is yours. Take it over, share all your experience of winning the quiz and your internship experience as well. Go for it.
Taha, you want to start over?
Yeah, definitely. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Alekhya, for the wonderful introduction. What an experience has it been competing amongst 1.25 lakh participants the last year and subsequently securing the national runner-up position. Be it the thrill of the quizzing or the depth of research, and most importantly, the joy of connecting the seemingly unrelated dots have always fascinated me. And just like I very fondly recall the final question and the answer of the national final of Tata Crucible 2023 edition, the answer to which was the Taj Mahal Palace. So it is Tata Crucible that gives the perfect platform to showcase this passion. And in Tata Crucible, with renowned Quizmasters, Giri sir and Rashmi ma'am, they do not just present questions to us, but it is like a mental exercise that kind of challenges us to think critically, find connections, and thereby making us learn beyond just memorizing the facts. And also, as lawyers, we are often called upon to think from both the sides, analyze meticulously. And with this, I'll say that Tata Crucible no longer remains a competition, but it transforms itself into becoming a platform that gives an enriching learning experience. Before I begin to describe my internship experience, I would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi. He once said, and this was during the time when he visited Jamshedpur in 1925, he said that, "May God grant that in serving the Tatas, you will also serve India and will always realize that you are here for a much higher mission than merely working for an industrial enterprise." So becoming the national runner-up of Tata Crucible was a significant milestone, not only because it was about winning India's biggest business quiz, winning what is referred to as the Wimbledon of quizzing, was of course a moment of pride, immense pride. But for it also opened the door to an incredible opportunity of the internship with the Tata Group, where each day of the internship with the nation builders, it was a chance to learn, to grow both professionally, personally. And I must say that I had the privilege of working with the finest in the corporate world. The guidance that I received at every step from my seniors was invaluable. And these are the insights that actually transcend the textbooks and the theories. So, as Tata Crucible marks 20 years of igniting curiosity and celebrating the joy of knowing more, I'm excited to see what lies ahead. And to all the upcoming participants, I wish you the very best in your journeys, and may you enjoy the thrill of discovery. And yes, that's not all. I also have a question to ask all of you who are joining us on this live stream. And
Yeah, Taha, just hold on to that. Yeah, I know
all
you're
right.
dying to ask the question. Just hold on. Yeah, let's hear Pradumna out, and then we'll come back. Yeah, yes, Pradumna, over to you.
Thank you, Alika. Hi, everyone. So, before I dive into the internship bit, I want to thank Giri sir for saving me from a PhD. Because, as he said, a lot of people sort of, hope that undergrads are extended so that they can take extra part in Tata Crucible. And that has been a moment in my life where I have thought if I wanted to go for a PhD only so that I could take part in so many more crucibles. So this helps that this year I was fortunate enough to win the trophy and not go to the PhD. So moving on, very well spoken, Taha. I like the quote about the Gandhi bit when he visited Jamshedpur. Yes, Tatas have contributed so much in so many ways in building India, and even a little bit in my personal sort of space when in terms of internship. So obviously, any intern sort of gives you an experience to learn and not just learn, also get your first hand experience of how sort of corporate life works. And this was my first sort of foray into the corporate world because this was my first internship ever. And the most important part to me personally was the fact that when you work in a place as grand as the Tatas, you sort of learn so much just by being there present and not your just your daily to day work. Just being present at the Bombay House and interacting with so many people, even especially I remember a particular conversation during break when I was sort of having a break and I was sitting in the lounge and someone quite senior compared to my age came about and said hi and sort of had a conversation, and this was sort of in the very early parts of internship, and I had my challenges because of where I was working in, and he sort of gave me a sort of pathway guidance to how to continue on, and just left. And unfortunately I could not catch his name, and sort of that has stuck with me in the sense that when you get to work in a place such as this, you never know, as they say in Hogwarts, help will always be there for you when you ask for it or want it. That sort of has been this internship experience for me. um, Overall, more than that, obviously, the chance to interact with business leaders, the chance to interact even with your manager, if in a day-to-day experience, where you get to learn how to, do the more complicated bits as well as the more simpler bits, which is also important, in terms of maintaining a discipline in your internship. So overall, it has been a fantastic experience, and hopefully, I'll get to do that again. Why not? I'd love to have a second go at and another internship at the Tata.
Awesome, awesome. Great to hear that, both of you guys. And guys, everyone watching it on Instagram, we invite you to ask you more and more questions. We can see many comments and questions coming in, but please keep the questions flowing in. Pradumna, why don't you sort of maybe ask a question? And in fact, we had promised a live quiz as well as part of this live experience to all our viewers. So, Taha, just wait for your turn. Maybe I'll ask Pradumna to ask his question first. Yeah, go for it, Pradumna. Yeah.
So, my question is this. So, we're talking about a personality from the education sector who was a passionate cricketer during his early years and captained his college side. He was also the wicket keeper of a first division club in Bangalore named Young Cricketer. He kept wickets for the great Anil Kumble as they played for the same club as youngsters. In 2021, this famous personality made his debut in the film Kamalit from Naduk Kaveri, where he plays himself. The question is simply identify the personality. I'm sure you will get it in no time.
Oh, okay. We already have an answer. I think Palak has answered. Palak Kumar, ex-national champion, if I'm not wrong. His guess is Giri, sir. Is that the right answer? And I hope I'm doing a good Giri impersonation when he puzzles us on stage, even when you have given a right answer. Pradyumna, is that the right answer?
That is absolutely right.
Let's put our hands together for Palak. Good, 10 points to you, or 50, maybe Crucible coins, as we call it. Okay, Taha, over to you. Taha, why don't you go for it? That was a good one, Pradyumna, by the way. Very well framed. Yeah, Taha, go for it.
Yes. So the question from me is, it's a story. I'll narrate that. An easy one. So the beginnings of this company can be traced to one cold November night at Sayaji Hotel in Indore. And the restaurant manager, Prosenjit Chaudhary, had been serving an item by the poolside, but the guests weren't happy. And they complained that the food item wasn't hot enough. Now, Chaudhary had seen a television show in which nomads had faced the same problem while camping.
Someone has buzzed. Should I cut you? Someone has buzzed already. Should I cut you? Typical Crucible style, like you guys do. You should also feel like how Giri feels when you guys do this.
Yeah, I definitely we would go with the person who has buzzed first, but please allow me to complete the question, because as the quizmaster, I can feel now that I am on the other side.
Okay.
I can feel what Giri sir must have been going through when Pradun and people like Pradunma and me must have been just banging on the buzzers and feeling that urge to give the answer as soon as possible. So I'll continue. So they had complained that, and yes, so Chaudhary had seen a television show in which nomads had faced the same problem while camping on the river bank, and he had improvised to find a solution. So inspired by this technique, this innovative approach, it became an instant hit, and this led to founding of a popular dining chain. So which one is it? That's the question.
So I think there have been quite a few guesses with the same guess, Taha, but the first one I saw which said Barbecue Nation was Ria. Is that the right answer, Taha?
Yeah, that definitely is the right answer, Barbecue Nation.
Awesome. So 10 points, or again, Crucible points to Ria, and both of you can, in fact, DM us. We will definitely ensure the fantastic prizes again from the Tatas reaches you. So wonderful, guys. I mean, it was beautiful interacting with the two of you, and I wish we had internships as well during our times as students when we participated in the campus quiz. So, and I must say, I'm positively jealous, right? Cool. And I think we already have some amazing questions which are coming in. I would like to welcome back Rashmi and Giri sir again. So that we can tackle some of those questions, right? Like the first one, and this is an interesting one. I think Vinay has asked this. Giri, if you want to take this, he wants to know how is the structure of the level 1 prelim this time around? How is it different, right? Is it going to be daily, or is it going to be a designated time slot like it used to be till last year? If you want to explain that, that will be, I think, a benefit for the viewers.
So one of the things we found in the past is genuinely when we announce the prelims on a particular day or a particular set of days, people probably would have, meetings, or in the corporate scenario, in the campus, there could be exams or classes. And then we really didn't know what to do to, provide them another opportunity. With the rising numbers, we also thought it's good to provide more opportunities. The challenge then became, how do you do it? What is good? So the whole idea became you could take it every day. So if you miss it today, you take it tomorrow. You don't have to wait for the Tatas to tell you when you can take it and so on. So it's open every day till the registrations are open. You just go register and play. So that's how easy it's become. You can play today and you can play tomorrow, and you can be rest assured the questions are different.
Absolutely. And
that's important, because it's not about playing one day and then saying, okay, today I've practiced and tomorrow I'll crack it. The questions will change every day. So it's absolutely new set of questions every day for people to play with. But I think it's made it a lot easier for people so they can find their own time slots to play.
Yeah. And I think my own personal point of view as a quizzer, because it has become like accessible all through. I mean, even if you, let's say, register on the last day, there is still a chance for you to participate and have a great chance as much as the person who registered 30 days back. Awesome. And
absolutely, yes, but I think you should never allow it for the last day. I am not a last day person by nature. Any day is your day, because the way I look at it, Alekhya, is if the quiz was in your city on a particular day, you would have to take the prelims on that day, right? I mean, you're not going to come to that prelims and say, no, today I'm not feeling well to take the prelim. You lost it. So treat it like a ground event. Tell yourself, today is my Tata Crucible prelim, and take the prelim. I think that's the right way. I don't believe in this theory that 4 days later you will be better prepared than 4 days earlier. We all know it. We've done it. Beyond a point, I mean, you can't really prepare. So if you've got a fair amount of knowledge and you brush through it for a couple of days, then I think, you're on with it.
Yeah. Talking of preparation, that brings me to the next question. This is from Nandita. And I want to know the answer to the next one from the two of you. I have been wondering what is it for the last 20 years. Please provide insights into the kind of questions that are asked and the duration of the level 1 prelims. And more about the first bit, like what sort of questions will be asked? Any clue that you want to give?
Should I take it, Rashmi?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So what we do is, I don't know if I'm letting things out of the bag, but we've got a completely different construct of subjects that we typically tend to look at between the corporate crucible and the campus crucible. Because it has to be closer in age to who you are, closer in interest to what you like. So questions are normally around what people of your age band tend to do. So you might actually find more of e-commerce or trends and gadgets and so on that Rashmi and her team would put for campus, and corporate tycoons and so on, probably for corporates. There's also a fairly larger percentage of current affairs that we do for the campus, because the idea is to see whether you know what's happening around you. In the first round of prelims, we're not really testing your depth of knowledge. We're only testing your awareness of business happening around you in this world. So that's the reason I keep telling people, just take it. Just take a prelim on your day, you'll do well and you'll qualify. So that's as simple as the spectrum of subjects that we offer.
If I may add to that, he's absolutely right. The point that he made about awareness, I say this at every quiz for any age group that we do. We ask questions based on what we see in our environment, what the target audience sees in their environment. They need to have those kind of observational skills, first of all, to catch the clues that we give. That is where most of them miss that out, because most of the answers are easy. It's the way we phrase the questions that creates a problem for many of them. I think they complicate it in their own minds with the way we have phrased the questions. If they're able to, weave those clues together, they will know that the answers are actually quite simple. So they just need to open their eyes and mind and be aware of their environment. That's about it, actually.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, Rashmi, which you made.
One more thing which might help them, Alekhya. Sometimes, and I think quizzers at all levels tend to have this feeling that Quizmasters have secret access to information. We've got absolutely nothing like that. Okay. In fact, the rule of the game is all questions appear strictly from what has appeared in public domain. That is what is a fair quiz contest. Have you read what I have read? That's a quiz. Have you read what your neighbor has read? So 90% of our questions would come from newspapers, from magazines, from blogs, blogs of media houses, internet sites, not something that I wrote to a company and said, can I get some quiz questions from you about your brand? If it's not actually checked and verified by us in at least 3 reliable public domain sources, we don't qualify that as a question to be asked. Yep. So it's just about keeping your eyes and ears open to what's happening around you.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very common myth that people have. And that's the most common question I've had in 25 years of my career as a quizmaster. Where do you get your questions from? From where you do? I mean, it's the newspapers and the magazines. So it's as simple as that. You just watch media. I think making your own notes and scribbling it around sometimes is easy. Sometimes, I mean, I'm again lending into a secret. Sometimes a couple of people come into my room and they'll say, I need 2 questions. Can you give me one? I normally look around in my room.
Yeah.
The tube light would have a brand name. The books on my table would lead me to a question. The printer in my room would give me a
Brain, I think you need to, put a break on all the secrets that you're revealing.
I was making mental notes. Thank you. And I'll maybe write a blog post about it and get a lot of traction, Giri. Yeah, I'll write it.
It's a fair thing to share. What I'm trying to say is quizzing is about what's around us. If you just listen to what's around you, you will crack 9 out of 10 quizzes.
Yeah. And Giri, I'm sorry, Rashmi, but I think Giri wasn't telling anything that he hasn't hinted earlier. Like many times after he gives out the answers to the puzzling questions, seemingly puzzling questions, he actually mentions there was a senior executive who was traveling with me in the same flight. We were discussing and I thought, oh, this will be a good question, right? And which he eventually asks, right? For example, that's how, like, I think you answer and pick up questions. And I think, Rashmi, equally to your point, mostly it's not obscure. I mean, that's not the idea. And I think nothing typifies it better than that first ever Tata Crucible brand film. As a marketer, I really appreciate how the Tatas again got it inch perfect, like most things that they do, to just bring out the quizzing spirit, like how we quizzers work out answers even if we have no clue when we hear the questions under the pressure of the buzzer. I think moving on to the next question, Giri and Rashmi, Shefali asks us that even for the internship, everyone needs experience and do we need tough skills? Or how does essentially the Tata Crucible internship give practical experience? Any clues that we heard from Pradyumna and Taha or otherwise that you want to give to the ones who will potentially participate, win and get the internship?
So the details of the internship would be on the website, or the Tatas would get in touch when eventually people win. So I won't get into the specifics of the internship that the person might win. But in general, internships with such large enterprises, with someone as respected as the Tatas and so on, adds immense value to you and gives you a completely different perspective to life. I think Taha mentioned that, or Pradyumna did, that the very way in which you start looking at things and thinking changes. So I would see the internship more as an influence on your life than anything else.
Got it.
I'd like to add to that, actually.
Yeah.
Any internship with the Tatas, especially with the Tata Crucible team at the Bombay House, I think when you work with them, their work environment is very different from what you would see in any other corporate office. I mean, no disrespect to anyone out there, but what I have seen is the way they work, they ensure that you get great outcome and this great results by ensuring that you do it in the right manner. And they ensure that the entire team is involved. There is great learning for everybody involved in the team. So, and I have seen, I'm not an intern there, but I have experienced that by only working with that team. So I think that is something that's a great learning. I mean, Pradyumna actually mentioned that, right? So it's a great learning to just be with them and work with them. So I think that is something people should look forward to when they, look at internship with the Tatas.
Yeah, with your permission, maybe I'll call back the champions to share a few anecdotes about the internship experience. If the team can get Pradyumna and Taha back, and maybe guys, any of you want to take a stab at answering the question on essentially some bits about the internship. I think we are seeing quite a few questions from the live viewers that, what is the duration? What was the experience like? What sort of practical exposure? Taha, you want to take a stab at it?
Yes. Like Rashmi ma'am also said, the very fact of the moment you step into the Bombay House, that is what I felt. And this is not about blowing the trumpet, but saying things, stating the things as is. The work environment, the culture and the ethics and how it grooms you as an individual. not just in the professional. It could be meeting timelines, multitasking, then interacting with the agencies and the vendors, but also personally, at a personal level, it trains you to become, I'll say, corporate ready. And I think it was the same for Pradunma, both of us. It was the first experience of working in a corporate. And what better way to, what more could one ask for than working for the nation builders themselves? And yes, Pradunma, would you like to have anything else to say?
In my experience, the amount of sheer confidence that you get after the completion of the internship, in terms of the fact that you feel that you're quite ready to take the next step in terms of if you get placed and when you start your new work wherever you are starting up. That transition for the duration in the internship, I saw that in myself when I was starting up and how nervous I was in at the first day and how comfortable I was with myself in such an environment.
Awesome. Can I have Giri and Rashmi back to take just one or two more questions which have been asked live? And I think there is one simple question, again, to do with the types of questions, Giri and Rashmi, that are like, I think Shiri asks us that, do you ask questions about brands only in India or even international? I know the answer, but I wanted you guys to quickly also address this. Rashmi, you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll take that. It's at a global level. We don't stick to brands only in India at all. I mean, Tata Crucible is a business quiz, right? Business is not restricted only to our country. So it's from all over the place.
Yeah. And I think some fantastic observations and comments coming in live. Like, I think this is a sign of the times to probably request up some bilingual, aspects to the quiz as well. Maybe, I mean, all of you at Grey Caps, Giri and Rashmi and Tatas can take a note of it and make it even grander and more, accessible in scale through languages, maybe. There was a funny comment when we were discussing about how you frame questions. I think Aniruddha mentioned this, that when they go for shopping with the better halves, they ensure that they keep a lookout on the brands that are there in the stores, and that actually helps them stay a little more prepared. Awesome. The last question I want to take, I think this has been asked by Rahul, that could you please walk us through how the quiz will work, including the different stages and what the participants can expect at each level? I think you've covered in bits and pieces, but if you could just crystallize all of it in one bit, Giri or Rashmi, if you want to take this overall across the stages, what's the structure like?
Yeah. So I think Giri is facing some glitch. So let me explain until he's able to fix that. So he explained it actually when he was talking about the format early on this session here today. So we have two levels of prelim, and we already spoke of the kind of questions that come up in those preliminary rounds as well. Of course, as you go higher up the level,
Yeah, I think Giri is back now. Rashmi, yeah, you want to take it? I think there's some issue
into the regional rounds of Tata Crucible. Alekhya, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now it's clear. Go for it. Yeah, go for it, Rashmi. Yeah.
Yeah. Into my system as well. All right. So I was just talking about two levels of prelim, and the level of difficulty getting a notch higher when they go into the next level of that second prelim that is going to happen. And that is a very common thing with Tata Crucible, because as you go closer to that regional final, closer to that zonal final, the difficulty level is always higher. The whole point is to challenge the quizzer to think harder and make greater connections and come up with wonderful answers. So that is what we try to do always. So from the preliminary rounds, we would have, after the two prelims, of course, we would have 6 finalists for every cluster who would move into the regional rounds. And of course, Giri mentioned that we would be having it in 8 locations and 3 cluster rounds per location. So that is how we are going to cover the 24 clusters. And from there, the zonal rounds, of course. From the zonal rounds, it would be the national final. So that is the level of quizzing. The questions, I mean, yeah, it gets more challenging. It gets a little more difficult as we go higher up the level. I mean, if the ones who have asked these questions, The great example would be the corporate national final that happened not so long ago. I think the live link is still there, so you can go ahead and take a look. The kind of questions that you would see there, those are not the kind of questions that you would see at a prelim of a Tata Crucible. So that is a great comparison and a great yardstick for them to, have an idea about what kind of questions come in a Tata Crucible.
Awesome. Giri, any part? Yes, Giri, please.
Yeah, I think for those who feel the format is something they would like to know more, the TataCrucible.com website is a great place. I mean, just go to format. There is a very clean description by the Tatas on the format. So it's very elementary, very simple. Before we end on the internship note, we're a small company. We are an SME as Grey Caps. I'm good at asking questions, so I can end with a question from my side. A young girl from NITK Surathkal walked into intern at Grey Caps and is today a national host of a quiz. No points for getting that one. So if an internship can get you there at Grey Caps, she joined us as an intern. Imagine what an intern at a Tata's can do for you. That's the way I would look at it.
Absolutely. I think that's sort of the perfect sort of wrapping up statement, Giri. Any final thoughts from the two of you before I say bye to you and before they see you again for the first cluster final, actually, right? If I'm not wrong, on stage. So anything else?
Well, I'm just waiting to see girls take part in huge numbers and waiting to quiz all of them. Nothing against all you boys. I mean, just allow me to be happy to see higher number of participation from the girls. That's about it. Because at the end of the day, when you come on stage, the questions are the same for all of you. So nothing against all of you, but the girls, please do take part in higher number. I'm right there for you at every location, waiting to quiz with all of you.
Awesome. Giri?
The first step to winning is to take part. If you keep thinking, I will be better prepared at some point in time to be having a better chance at winning, you're only cheating yourself. Most national champions will tell you they won in the year they thought they will not win. It is so true. The year where they would actually think they are most underprepared is the year they would win the crown. So if you don't trust yourself, who's going to come and trust you? Life begins with trusting yourself. Championships begin with giving yourself a chance. As simple as that. We'll see them at Tata Crucible.
That's a beautiful comment to end it with, and I personally connect a lot with it. I have been runners-up at different city stages 5 times in Tata Crucible, never won it.
Is that a record? We'll find that.
There are many who have been runners-up even more than me. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that spirit of keeping on with it and participating again and again, which Giri talked about, keeps us quizzers going. And in fact, if I talk about the numbers, it's absolutely heartening to see a lot of non-quizzers outside the fraternity to take part in huge numbers, right? And Rashmi, I give you my word, Monday morning tomorrow with my growth team, we'll drive even more numbers of female participants and hopefully cross that 1 lakh challenge that you just put out there. And let's see, and let's see what is the record eventual number that we finish it with. 6 days left. That's an important reminder I want to share with each one of you. 6 days left for the registrations. It's already 206,000 people, but there are many more that we hopefully will see in terms of registrations, and keep participating like Giri underlined again and again. Keep following Tata Crucible for all the important updates and other exciting contests and sessions like these. All the best to each one of you. It was really, really a fun session. And I learned a lot. I'm sure you did as well. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in.